What's going on, everyone? Welcome to today's video. I have a really exciting one for you today. I recently got my hands on a Steam Deck and I've been spending so much time with it. I'm a person who absolutely loves handheld consoles, so I was super excited to finally dive in and see what this thing has to offer. Having the majority of my Steam library at my fingertips is an absolute game changer, and the one thing I needed when I picked this thing up was a nice, concise list of great games that are perfect for this handheld specifically. Sure, there's a great on deck section in the Steam storefront, but there's so many games to choose from, it could be incredibly overwhelming. After some testing on my own and playing quite a few games, I've compiled a list of games that are great on the Steam Deck. Now, I made some considerations when making this list. One of the big reasons I wanted a Steam Deck was its ability to play a lot of games that are too much for the Switch to handle. So this list is going to be comprised of games that aren't already on the Switch and easily playable on other handheld devices. Many of the lists I see out there have a ton of games you can play just about on every single thing that you possibly own, even right down to your phone. But I was looking for games that would really take advantage of what the Steam Deck has to offer. So if that's what you're looking for, you're in the right place. So let's get into the games. First up, we got the Trails in the Sky games. You all knew it was going to be here. I think we all knew this was coming. Trails in the Sky, I love it, and it's honestly one of the first things I downloaded when getting the Steam Deck. The Sky trilogy is the start of one of the best JRPG franchises of all time, and Steam is one of the few ways to access it. It should be noted, though, that when looking this up on Steam, it says that it isn't supported, but I think it's likely due to the opening cinematic being very choppy and jittery at points and having some slight audio issues. But I played through Trails in the Sky and started up SC and the third entry, and those all ran great as well. You won't have a problem running these games on the Steam Deck, and it's honestly the perfect fit for them. They feel right at home on the handheld, they look and run great, and luckily every single Trails game is on Steam, so you can have the entire Trails collection on one device, which is awesome. These games are classics, and honestly the first game is one of my favorites in the entire series. It's really great seeing how all the lore and world building got set up and really started what we know is the amazing series that Trails is today. Next up, I've got Final Fantasy VII Remake Integrate. This is one of those really incredible games that is not only really fun to play, but looks absolutely amazing. The game is breathtaking. It has incredible visuals with detailed character models, vibrant environments, and cinematic cutscenes that bring everything in Midgar to life, and I was actually surprised to see this one was Steam Deck verified. This is a game I honestly had a hard time believing could ever run on a handheld device, but here we are, and it actually runs really, really well on the Steam Deck. I was surprised to see that I got a nice frame rate. I did need to go in and lock my frame rate to 40 in the Steam Deck settings because the frame rate jumps around quite a bit and feels a little jittery at times, but after I did that, game ran great. If you enjoyed Final Fantasy VII Remake and want to have this in your handheld collection, then grab it on Steam Deck. You won't regret it. This is a great JRPG to have on the go. All right, moving on, I've got Baldur's Gate 3. Baldur's Gate 3 might end up winning Game of the Year today, and if it does, it would be well deserved. This is a masterclass in innovative game design. The choices you make really have an effect on everything that happens throughout the game's lengthy campaign. There are surprises at every turn, and Baldur's Gate 3 is easily one of the most addictive games I've played, likely ever. With all that said, it's a perfect fit for your Steam Deck. Now, don't get me wrong, graphically, it isn't going to look near as good as it does on a high-end PC or current gen console, but being able to get anywhere, anytime will actually likely help me maybe actually complete this game. I needed to do some tweaking to the graphical settings to get it running just right because the default settings have it to prioritize frame rate, and in doing so, it makes the graphics look quite bad. Once I had everything tweaked how I like it, which did take some time and some effort, the game was great and fun to play in handheld mode. This is a super long game, so the Steam Deck has been a game changer for me, and actually, I feel like I'm finally making legitimate progress with this one. This is a perfect candidate, I think, for playing those long play sessions at home on a high-end PC with all the bells and whistles, and then taking it on the go with you with your Steam Deck. Baldur's Gate 3, great game. Pick this one up, add it to your library, you won't regret it. All right, moving on. Now, right here, this is a game that I can't get enough of. I love Elden Ring, and it's one that that I've frequently stepped away from and come back to, and every single time I seem to come back to it, I fall in love with it even more. I recently jumped back into it on the Steam Deck, and I'm of course hooked again. Having this on a handheld is actually completely insane to me. If you want a game that really justifies that Steam Deck purchase, this is probably the one. Games like Elden Ring and the other Souls games, for that matter, are so addictive and immersive that they can really be a ton of fun on a handheld device. Elden Ring is known for its challenging gameplay and intricate world design, and therefore just picking this up on Steam Deck and exploring the open world for a while can be a ton of fun. This is easily one of the best games you can grab for your new device and should be in your Steam library for sure. Now, before we close out, I did want to give 3 indie games that I've been playing a ton of on the Steam Deck. Now, you can get these games on the Switch or any other platform really, but I've particularly been playing these games on Steam Deck recently, and it's been a ton of fun. So I did want to mention them here in this video. Sea of Stars is first up, and it is a love letter to the old school JRPGs. It takes mechanics from some of the classics like Chrono Trigger and Super Mario RPG and builds on them in ways I truly wasn't expecting. The art style really shines here, and the game is a ton of fun. You'll fall in love with each of the characters and the story. It's great. The combat isn't the only thing that shines here. The puzzles are also great, and everything this game had to offer kept me engaged. And it's one of those games that I truly love playing on a handheld device. Most indies are, for me personally, perfect handheld experiences, and that's why Sea of Stars is on this list. I also have a review of this game on the channel, so be sure to check that out if you haven't. So now moving on to the next one, we've got Chained Echoes. Now this is absolutely incredible, and I'm just getting started on this one. I'm definitely really late to the party, and oh man, I wish I had jumped in sooner. If you are a fan of JRPGs, then this is an absolute must play. I plan on doing a video on this once I'm finished because it just does so many cool and interesting things that I really want to talk about. I'm typically very fond of going back and playing older games, especially RPGs. I just feel like many of them hold up so well, and it's a ton of fun going back and playing them. Chained Echoes gets its inspiration heavily from these older games, but finds really creative ways to evolve and bring together classic mechanics cohesively without feeling like a disorganized group of random game mechanics seemingly pulled together out of nowhere, which is really important because there's so many elements to this game that are pulled from some of the classics that are my favorites, and how they tied them all together is really quite incredible. Anyway, this is a ton of fun. It's a great game to play on the handheld, and I think everybody should give this one a go. Lastly, I've got Hades, and this is an incredibly addictive game. We all know what it is. We all know it's great, and it's probably my favorite of the roguelite genre. I love the combat and the different ways to approach each playthrough. Everything moves fast, and the designs of the environments and characters are incredible. As you would expect, the roguelite genre caters well to short bite-sized play sessions or longer, more drawn-out runs. The Steam Deck is perfect for Hades, and special shout out to Rogue Legacy 2. Haven't been able to play as much of that one yet, but I will get to it. Hades, I can stand by with confidence, and you should definitely pick this one up for sure. All right, everyone, that's my list. Look out for more Steam Deck recommendations as I dive into more games. This is a great handheld, and it's worth it in every way. I love what the console has to offer, and there's a ton of games that are super well optimized for the Steam Deck. Let me know in the comments below if you have any recommendations for me, and I'll be sure to check them out. I created a Discord for us as well, so if you have any questions about the Steam Deck or some of the graphical settings I used for the games in these lists, be sure to drop by. I've got the link in the description below. I'd be happy to share any of my thoughts and impressions or any of those details with you all. Anyway, that's it for today. Until next time, I'm out.